Good morning, natural gas. It's Thursday, August the 13th, 2026. I'm Tim Beggins, president of Elk Trading Company. And for the spot September natural gas, we're down. We're currently trading at 274.20, down 6.2 cents or over 2.2%. Today is storage day. Expectations were plus 36. They've since moved lower to plus 32, which puts us below the 5-year average was plus 33, last year plus 49. So it would be considered a bullish report if it does come out below that. So that's good news here for the market, but the market is taking some chips off the table here because it is afraid of a bearish surprise. Let's take a look at the hourly chart, and we are below the daily pivot. We've been holding below that daily pivot, which came in today at 279.40. We are through first support at 275.70, secondary support 271.1, but as you can see, the RSI is in oversold condition. So let's see if the storage report comes out. If it's bullish, we're going to reverse back out, head back up to the daily pivot at 279.40. Let's take a look at the weather. The weather is bullseye, focused in the southeast. This is where the heat and humidity are. This is where our extreme temperatures are coming for the next basically week, or at least maybe even 2 weeks. As you can see, for the 8 to 14 day, it is centered above Louisiana basically. And this is the story of the year. This is El Nino. These are the subsurface temperatures here. And as you can see, it is hot, hot, hot. And that means we're at record El Nino conditions and continuing to move in that direction. So it will push down the winter strip, and we'll see that in just a minute, but there may be some bullish surprises inside of there late winter. Let's take a look at that strip. This is Novi through March, and as you can see, we are down over 6 cents here, over 1.79%. The RSI is turning lower. The trend has been down. It has been down basically since March here, and then we really started to accelerate about May the 4th, and this continues to push to new lows. Let's turn to the electrical grid, and here we are in ERCOT, over 89,000 megawatts for system-wide demand. But look at renewables. Renewables this morning, about 65% of the fuel mix, because we're going to peak out over 54,000 megawatts of renewable capacity because wind is kicking back in, especially out west. And here it is. The natural gas market is only holding about 25% of the fuel mix, but it's only 17,405 megawatts in the grid right now. Power is recharging right now, as you can see here to the graph here over to the right. As you can see, solar and wind are pushing over 45,000 megawatts. Let's turn to the rest of the grid. There's PJM expected to be about 107. This is SPP. We saw some fireworks there, 72. And then MISO behind me here at about $92. So it's relatively quiet in ERCOT, only going to get about $41 potentially here, and CALSO about 53. But the heat and the humidity are going to be a factor here for some of the power grid to the east. And let's turn to the heat risk here. As you can see right now, we are looking at over 7 million people under extreme heat risk from West Texas, even South Texas, all the way back over into Florida. And this continues to get worse as we get into the week here. This is Saturday with over 26 million people in extreme heat risk, 26 on Sunday. Then it eases up a little bit here as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But as you can see, major heat risk still for 61 million people across the South. Everything south of the Oklahoma-Kansas border is going to swelter. Let's take a look at the model here, and that continues as we look pushed out here toward the 20th here. This is triple-digit temperatures are still holding through the south as we go through the model run, but they are increasingly contained into Texas, parts of the desert Southwest, and Florida. So right here, as you can see, this dome of heat is still continuing as we get into the 27th, but the northern tier, Chicago is okay at 87, New York at 78 degrees. So that's cooler weather coming in for the Northeast. And speaking of cooler weather, let's turn to France, which is baking today and will continue to bake for the next few days here. But cooler temperatures are going to arrive on Sunday. That's good, or excuse me, next week. Sorry about that. It is coming in right here on next Sunday, the 23rd. So they've got a week here to survive, about 10 days now, unfortunately. The heat moves into Eastern Europe and then pushes out. So hopefully this will be the last of the heat waves for France. This is heat wave number 5. And here is the EU storage. It is currently just over 59% full. And look down here, the daily injections. We do peak out in the 15th. That's right. By Saturday, we typically peak out in injections. They typically start to decline across the EU. Not this year. Why not? Because they are going to have to bid out of Asia, right, to take spot LNG cargoes. What is the differential on shipping between Asia and Europe from the US Gulf Coast? About $1.10 to $1.20. So where are we sitting today for September? 115. That means Europe is finally catching the message. Time to hit the pedal to the metal. Let's take a look at Asia here, and it is going to be cooler across the eastern provinces of China, Japan, and the Koreas because of Typhoon Dolphin, and then it starts to warm back up. Here it is starting to warm back up next Wednesday on the 19th. So warmer temperatures are coming back in from Shanghai all the way back up to Beijing. As you can see, India is doing fairly well, modest temperatures there, but still seasonal. And let's take a look at the LNG, and there's nothing loading at Ras Laffan in Qatar right now. We still have congestion. The transit across the Strait of Hormuz is at a 3-month low. Let's turn to the US, and here's Cameron. It is kicking over 1.5 BCF. That's great news there. It is really ramping up. And here's Freeport, steady as she goes. Again, maintenance is going to wrap up here within the next 2 weeks. And let's turn to Creole Trail. This is one of the pipelines that feeds Sabine Pass, doing well here. And this is Corpus Christi, also doing fairly well. Then Venture Global, steady as she goes. And there is Plaquemines, so there is a little bit of an easing up on the throttle here at Plaquemines. And Golden Pass, unfortunately, has also eased up here, 350,000 MMBTU. So Train 1 capacity still has not breached over 2/3 at this stage. The highest we saw was close to 600,000, but now we are starting to ease back up again. So let's take a look at the tropics, and there is our tropical depression, Gustavo, and it is going to just ease out into the Atlantic and die. But then we've got 92L here. It is 80% chance of formation over the next 7 days. We'll look at the path here. Behind it, 94L, 50% chance of development. And here's the water temperatures. This is important. Watch here. Below Dominican Republic, 82 degrees. Above it, 83 degrees. Warmer temperatures up here. Why is this important? Because these two systems are moving generally in the same direction, but one is going to go below the Dominican Republic and one is going to go north of Dominican Republic. Let's take a quick glance at the Gulf of Mexico, America here, and it is fairly quiet. There's some storm systems out here off of Florida, coming off of the Yucatan and near Cuba. Here is the path of 92L. That's the first system. It is heading directly toward Nicaragua. And here is 94L. It is heading north of the Dominican Republic, maybe making a beeline toward the Bahamas and Florida. And here's our Saharan air layer. It is still kicking in and more dust is coming off the continent. That is going to probably inhibit the development of these two systems, but we'll see. The water temperatures are very, very warm here in the Caribbean and in the Gulf of America. Let's turn to the stocks, and unfortunately, it's a sea of red because crude and natural gas are both down. As you can see, stocks in the oil and gas E&P sector, stocks between $2 and $10 billion, have a high short float. Everybody's down, including CNX behind me here at minus 1.13%. Recapping here for the spot September natural gas contract, we're currently trading at $2.7390, down 6.5 cents or over 2.2%. Today is storage day. Expectations plus 32. That would be bullish versus last year's plus 49. Slightly bullish plus 33 for the 5-year average. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.